Hey, GBP roast, GBP roast. Sorry, you in danger. Right now, I gotta flame you. This is GBP roast, GBP roast. On your Google business profile, it's about to go down. We roasting and reacting. We ain't come to play. 20 years in SEO. JP, Lambo, and Trey, bringing facts and guests. Oh yeah, we bring the dopeness. Welcome to the show. Hope your profile don't get roasted.
Hey, Heath Lambo, what was that? What are you doing?
I'm messing with my stick, my GoPro stick.
Your stick, huh?
Yeah.
We're ready to rank and spank, guys. Rank and spank today.
It's adjustable. It goes in and out like this. It's black. It's perfect.
Love it. Let's get into rank and spank, guys. Today we will be talking about 10 myths to debunk, right? Is that right? We're doing some
MythBusters.
MythBusters today. We got some MythBusters. We got our videos going on. We got 2 reaction videos, and we got a great GBP to roast. So first off, let's get right into it. Let's play our very first reaction video. There's going to be a few tips dropped in this one, so let's go through the whole thing, and then we can talk about each one of them. Here it goes.
Dilution of your service section. See how your primary is outlined in gray? All these others are custom service. Big G wants you to run ads. Do not dilute your service section. Next, having banners or logos that blend in. We want to optimize our profiles to look and mirror the winners, but we don't want our images to just blend in. Make sure they catch the user's eye. Being greedy with your service area. You might service 50 miles, but you're not going to rank 50 miles. Don't be greedy. Posting updates that don't support a primary service in the primary area that you operate in. Just posting the post. Don't do it. The update serves a purpose to help promote what you do and where you do it. And it gives you a better opportunity to show up as people also search for. Most of the time, businesses that are updating the same way, talking about the same things in the same areas as your competition, have a better opportunity of showing up here, but also many other areas online.
All right. A lot to unpack over there. Chris, drop some.
I'm going to cover that last one first. That people also suggest it has nothing to do with who has the most activity. It has to do with is the most suggested. So usually those are brands that are. It's actually both. So sometimes Google will A/B test a brand that's maybe kind of new, maybe unique in their eyes, or someone that's getting a lot of traffic already. So if there's a reputable company, in that case a law firm, and a lot of users are traveling to that law firm, maybe they're far away, but they're just a really well-known law firm, they're going to get in that feed. So it has nothing to do with posts at all. Has nothing to do with who's the best. It's really what Google thinks in recommending for users.
So is that more of kind of like bigger brands or bigger just people just?
It could be a bigger brand. It could be someone who's kind of unique. Sometimes I've seen it like listings that are brand new. Sometimes Google's kind of playing around with what they're showing. You see it a lot with like dentists, lawyers, doctors, and things like that. Got it.
How about the one with the photos? Putting photos that they don't blend in. I mean, I see that working as a CRO type of thing, right? Because it's kind of a CTR.
The reality is that Google can scan the image and they can read your logo, and you could have the same picture of a mechanic and a plumber. And how would you know the difference between the two? Maybe the tool or the device, right, that they have in their hand, a logo on their hat, a logo on their shirt. So, yeah, you definitely want to think about contrast and good quality photos. Like, it should make it obvious.
Great tip.
And that also too, use real photos. I mean, don't use stock. Don't look like everybody else. If you're a plumber and you have a staff, show photos of your staff. Be transparent.
I actually saw a 1 GBP when I was looking at some GBPs like roast today. There was one where I thought the main photo was actually the van, and it had all the information on the van. It had their name, had their number, had their website. I'm like, oh, this is like a perfect photo, right? Because it had like all the information on their work van.
So that could definitely work because again, Google's scraping that. They see it's a van, they see the color, the logo, and even better, man, if you had the guy if he was right by the door or smiling outside the window, because that's the person who's going to come to my house is what the homeowner is going to assume.
Got it. What about that one tip on diluting your categories or diluting? Is that something that we should be worrying about?
Partly. I mean, we covered that when I went over the HVAC example. You know, when you do it, you should really be using categories that you actually do provide. HVAC has a lot of different services and categories that are within it. HVAC is kind of a general bucket, and then they have things like heating contractors, AC repair, things like that as their own category. But if you get into where, hey, I'm a plumber and I also do pest control, like you got to kind of pick what you do, because that can cause some confusion. The whole dilution thing, it's not really a thing, but it comes down to with, like, if you're a handyman, handymans, they do roofing, siding, like they do everything. But the fact that you just have handyman, sometimes Google recognizes that those extra services that you do provide kind of goes under that one general bucket.
And what's key too is just because you add it, it doesn't mean you're going to see some sort of a boost, right?
Yeah.
Google knows you're a roofing contractor. You may work on skylights or install skylights, but you don't really necessarily need to take the time or pay someone to add that on there.
Got it. And the last tip you mentioned was like, don't, I guess, spam your distance. Like, don't say you do something 50 miles away when, you know, and put it, say you do something 50 miles away on there. Is that something that we should?
It's not, it's again, resources and time wasted. Is it good maybe to show someone who lives outside that area that you can take care of them? But again, will you really genuinely leave your shop and drive to them, like for mobile, or, you know, stay in your backyard, focus again, what do we always talk about? Your in-market audience, right? You have to be realistic to who are you really serving, whether it's 30 miles away or 3 miles away.
Got it. Got it. Love it. Love it. Any last more comments before we go on to the next one?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing too, when I had the locksmith company, there's no doubt if there was a job that was an hour away, I would go do it if it was a, you know, $4,000 job. But if it's a little smaller job, $100, I'm not going to drive that distance.
Got it. All right. All right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, if it's gonna be, if it's worth it, might as well, right? Like, all right, guys, let's go on to another video by one of our buddies that actually watches the show here. Let's check this out.
So why do I believe a categorized hub and spoke structure wins for local SEO? Enhanced local relevance, a dedicated service area hub that links out to city-specific and service pages, creates a clear, organized map for both users and Google. Improved user experience. Intuitive navigation means customers can find what they need quickly, leading to higher engagement and conversions.
Yeah, that's true.
Solid internal linking. This structure reinforces topical signals, boosting the ranking potential of every page. Effortless setup with Blogstorm. With Blogstorm, local SEO mode, setting up your topical hub is a breeze. No endless planning, just plug in and get optimized. Scalability. As your business grows, adding new locations or services is simple without overwhelming your navigation. What do you think? Have you tried flat versus categorized structures on your site? Do you agree that a hub and spoke model powered by tools like Blogstorm is the way to go?
All right. All right.
It's pretty good AI. Looks real.
Oh, was that AI?
It's AI.
I didn't know Robbie did that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Oh, hey, Robbie, let me know. That must have been with HeyGen? Oh, that was cool. That was pretty cool if that was AI, but I thought it was real. So you got me. But so there's two things going on here. Like on your structure between like a flat structure or a hub and like I believe a hub and spoke, where it's like you have like directories and you have different you know, pages organized in directories instead of just like flat URLs is kind of what he was explaining within the whole video.
I would say focus on your GeoHub first and at least have some about page. Obviously your home page is going to give you a good portfolio of what you do. That's part of what we're going to be covering today in Mythbusters is, you know, keeping things a little bit more simple. Just the way AI and search is going right now.
And the GeoHub is kind of like a spoke setup,
for sure.
Oh yeah.
The whole idea is I serve this town with these services, right, in this area, and each link is, you know, it's like a silo. It goes out to that specific department as such.
Yeah.
When he was actually describing the video, it was actually putting it into like subfolders. So like, yeah, it was, you could either link into like flat, like put the city name and the service, you know, as an actual HTML page name, you know, then, or, you know, just flat files.
So you have a physical structure, which is basically physical would be the subfolder. So you have domain.com/city/service. Whereas in typically how I like to build them is more closest to the root. where you'd
Okay.
have domain.com / and then like city state, and then
Oh, so you
it
have
would
the
go
flat
to an
model.
additional page, would go to service plus city type of page. So
And there's not a lot of strong, compelling evidence that one way or the other is really better.
Okay.
We do know
However-
that being lean, right, and not duplicating, it certainly can help, but it's
Yeah.
really about the customer journey. And we're actually going to discover that in our GBP roast today because, man, Jordan and I
Alright.
found one that's pretty messed up.
However, I'm gonna say make sure your middle page. So let's say it's domain.com / roofing / Boise. Make sure that roofing page has content on it. Otherwise, you're missing on a lot of opportunity. If you don't have any content on that page, you will dilute and it'll mess up everything that you have going.
Oh.
So a lot of times people just want to have the subfolder and the keyword in the URL, but
Yep,
they don't
yep.
put any content on that page. So you're
So what
really
should be on that
shooting
page? Maybe just maybe
What's
like what should be on that page? Should it be maybe something about that city, or whether
If it's a city, then if it's like domain.com, Boise, and then roofing, you want to have the services that you offer in Boise. So it's everything like you would normally do, and it's linking out to that roofing page. So you kind of have a breadcrumb effect when you're going from the root over to the final subfolder.
Got
I
it.
see a lot of
Right.
times where people don't put any content in that middle page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Missed
And
opportunity.
you want basically everything you would do under roofing, right?
Yeah.
Roof repair, metal roofing. Here's our roof shingles, right? Someone should be able to come there and say, oh, that's the only thing I'm interested in is roofing in this town. And then they should be able to click and go where they want. And a little bonus for you, that's exactly where I send my AdWords to.
Oh, so that's a nice one. I want to drop
Why not?
a nugget right there. Love it. So AdWords goes to the subfolder that actually that then links out to all the other pages. So you don't have to really.
Right,
Love
'cause
it.
think
Love
about
it.
it. If you're a roofing ad, you could have something very specific, but many
Yeah.
times SEOs like these two get lazy and they'll just say, fuck it, roofing ad, I'm going to go to the roofing page, right? But that person may want, they actually search roof repair or roof shingles or roof cost. That's fine. Send them to that category page. But then just not very far down, a scroll or two, bam, they can click and go where they need to learn more.
So I'm curious when like, because you mentioned ads. I'm like, when you actually ever send it to like directly to a specific city page at times? Is there,
Well, in the Geo Hub, it would be
could be everything.
domain, city, then roofing.
Got
right?
it. So already
You
be in that
still-
city. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. All right.
I know it's all complicated.
No, great.
This is
nugget right there,
why
great
we
nugget.
have the Trident training course and why JP and I are just a text and a phone call away to help folks to, help them. We'll look at stuff, right? We'll look at the site, we'll give them pointers, but man, we have hours of training in the Trident group.
Love it. All right, let's get into our 10 myth busters of today, which was something a little different. So, JP,
What?
take it away.
Where's Lambo's world? What happened?
What's myth number 1?
All right.
This is going to be even
Ooh.
better than Lambo's world.
Can you guys all see my screen?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can.
Alrighty.
Local
All right.
Mythbusters.
Okay, we're gonna be talking about some myth comment in the SEO industry, comment and just in general. So we're gonna dive right in. So the first one, myth 1, it's all about NAP and being exact. So basically, what that means, back in the day when back it was called Google Places. One of the best ways that you could rank on Google Maps was making sure that you have citations in major directories. But back then, everyone was so strict on making sure your name, address, and phone number had to be in the exact same format, no matter what directory that you're putting it in. Reality is that while citations do impact, especially going into AI and search, your NAP doesn't have to be 100% exact. If you're
What?
looking if you're typing avenue, and it's AVE instead of spelled out, that's okay.
Yo, I'm a GMB bro, and you
Wait.
have to have name and address, phone the same all across the world.
Nope.
I mean, so why not? Did you do? I mean, how do you know?
Lots of testing. So,
Okay,
but
right.
the biggest thing is just making sure that your brand is out there, especially with AI search and AI overviews. The prominent brands are going to help you show up in ChatGPT and AI overview on Google.
Got it.
And then that also includes getting some press releases, which is a big help. It helps kind of validate that brand a little bit easier. And then definitely getting into some local organizations like your Chamber of Commerce and things like that.
Speaking
But
of press
Jordan,
releases,
what about they tell me the top 10 citations, I should just fix those.
oh,
So
What
now,
about that?
so now it's actually kind of going back to how things used to be. You still want to get into a lot of directories because of AI,
okay.
but you can still getting into the most popular ones, even though like Yellow Pages, Dex, Knows, Super Pages were kind of the main prominent ones. You don't really see a lot of those indexed right now, but it's still very important that Google still looks at those directories. Also Yelp's not my biggest fan, but they still look at that as being a major directory.
I got to comment on the press releases because I mean, people say press releases all the time. There are different types of press releases out there. I mean, are you talking about press releases that are like the big ones, like AP News or
No, it
Yahoo?
doesn't have to be. If you can find actually what I would recommend, if you can find a news reporter or someone who does news, that they can get you a little blog into like their major news station. If you can get actually hyper local news, that's better.
Okay.
You don't have to be in like all these major news outlets. A lot of times, because of how press releases are right now, I mean, you never really know who you're getting into. There's one company, I just made a post about it. I won't mention the name on here, but it's basically a giant PBN. So be careful on what types of press release distribution companies you're going with.
Got it. Okay.
Really,
okay.
the key when it comes to name, address, phone is the phone. Why? Because the phone number is like a 10-digit number, like your social security, that is not really duplicated elsewhere, right? Addresses can change. You have suite numbers. Sometimes people want to mess with their business name, but if that's your phone number, it's probably very consistent. Now, yes, there's tracking lines and there's toll-free numbers, etc. But that was one of the driving factor. If you ever signed up with Yex, 10 years ago, it was all about the phone number.
Yep.
Got it.
So really the major thing here, address doesn't have to be exact. Your business name does make a difference on kind of how it's abbreviated. You don't need to put the, corporation or Inc. in there, LLC nominations in there, but making sure you do have at least a consistent brand name. So that would be the one thing that I would recommend at least being consistent with.
Brand name.
Myth number 2, adding location data to images boosts local SEO. Big myth here
come
that
on! Come on! That's a bunch of bullshit.
So
Wait, no,
putting
I do
information
this.
into your photos, unfortunately, Google does strip that EXIF data. There's been discrepancies whether Google's even reading the data, even though they do strip it out.
They're strippers.
But
down.
It's not a major thing to use for your photos. Our cell phones have a great thing called GPS automatically built in. This is a screenshot from some photos that I've taken directly on my iPhone. Apple actually tags the photos automatically, so you can actually see where that photo was taken. When you upload those to your Maps listing, that information does get saved in there. So Google at least recognizes, where that data is being stored. Another trick that you can do too is have your technicians that are out in the field, if you're a home service company, take photos from their phones, tag it, load it up to your website, and put their actual location where they're doing the job. That it kind of helps kind of give you a boost for the overall performance and proximity. Number 3.
Back on number 2. So I want to ask you on so you said EXF IF data. Is that the same as that data that Google's doing, or is that totally different data? Because like if people are saying, some people are adding this location data, like manufacturing it, but is that the same data that Google? The Apple
So what
phone
I'm
is
basically
providing?
trying to tell you is that by going in and like editing your actual photo with EXIF data makes no difference. So you're wasting your time just adding that information in there.
But it does.
The whole point of this is Google sees the GPS tag from the
GPS
photo
tag.
file itself, And also, they're going to be able to use their AI recognition to actually see where that photo is actually located.
Okay,
so
okay.
You don't even need to do that.
Okay, so totally different things. Adding EX to data is totally different than what the iPhone or a phone can actually tag a phone.
Correct.
Okay,
That's why thinking about a landmark in the background, that's very unique, whether it's a water tower, the city welcoming sign.
Yeah, they're
something
going to
unique
know
to your
where you're
area.
at. It's hard. It's kind of hard
Awesome.
to lie. If you have the Statue of Liberty behind you, you're like, hey, I'm in Philadelphia. They're like, are you though? Next one is writing posts in Google Business. So basically, this is writing
Wait,
your
what?
posts during daily
Oh my
updates.
God. I pay a guy $100 to write posts every day. Come on.
So while this can help you get some, engagement if someone sees an update or something like that, it doesn't have an overall impact in rankings whatsoever. You can do
But
100
Jordan,
posts a day.
why
not
would
gonna
they
make a difference.
offer it if it's not a factor?
Because
Come
it's a
on.
deliverable that an agency can offer for a small business to show that they're doing something, but they're actually not even helping you. So don't even worry about it.
Well, how about this? Because when I see people kind of like either mention something in the comments or even comment under one of your posts, I see them like, hey, it's not that hard to do. It's like, it doesn't take that much time. So like, why not still do it?
Because there's other things you can do with your time.
All right.
Don't spend money on it. Really be thinking about the user, right? How could the user benefit from this post? The crap that Jordan and I have seen is just that people are posting crap and you're like, stop it. It's not helping you. That kind of time and effort, you might as well just go buy ads. Go stand on the corner with a sign that says buy from me. Come on.
And what I do remember you guys mentioning is like, if you are going to post on there, post offers, right? Kind of post like maybe like
you can do updates so that the updates and offers actually stand out and they'll stay on the listing a little bit longer, but they're pretty hard to see for a normal user anyways. So you're not going to really see it.
All right, what's
number 4? Local business schema markup is a must for ranking.
That's it. I'm done. Come on, schema.
Oh, we have
Let's go. I know a guy in Tempe, Arizona. He has 330 schemas implemented on his website. Come on.
So while Schema can help disambiguate with Google algorithms and their overall search engine, it's not a requirement. It doesn't actually give you a boost. All their documentations show otherwise. The ways that it could help you in like SERPs is like you can write a review markup in there so it shows those little stars in the SERPs, but that's really all it is. There's plenty of businesses that are ranking just fine. They don't use schema markup. They just have some decent on-page authority, branding, and things like that. So don't get in the weeds spending hours upon hours worrying about how your schema looks, making sure it's the right format, making sure Google understands what you do. Your content, Google does a pretty good job with your branding, with the content on your site to kind of decipher what you do and what you're all about.
You're not against it.
I put the review schema on my site and it's not working, but my competitor has his review stars. What's going on?
Yeah, what's going on?
Probably have it on the homepage.
Huh?
What typically is going on there, this is, Keith Evans talking to you, to the world, is that brand prominence, the more popular brands, Google is deciding, okay, we do trust you, and then those stars appear and others can get deprecated.
Yep.
So just, again, be aware, schema is not foolproof. There's not great evidence that it helps the maps.
You can totally, I feel like they should only do it. The reason why they do it with maybe trustful brands is because you can totally fake it, right? You can add a 5-star schema within your code and just put like a random.
You can. What I would probably do is I would pull in your reviews, depending on your server and site, because pulling in JavaScript from your Google Business reviews and embedding those can slow your site down a little bit and kind of crawl and indexing issues. But as long as you stay under like 6 seconds within your full rendered time, then you'll be fine.
Okay, got it.
Fine.
Create a massive silos in the website is necessary. Really what it comes down to is what we've actually been kind of changing things to for some of our clients is at least getting their main hub page done that's attached to their GMB. That really lists, where they service, their main city that they're in, all the services that they offer in that city that's tied to the actual maps listing itself. kind of how that video showed where Chris Palmer mentioned that, hey, you know, don't say you offer 100 cities when you only offer, you know, 10 to 15 in your area. Those kind of days are over when just the way kind of things are moving right now is everyone's trying to fight to be number one on the SERPs for a local business. Google AI is really taking over. So the main thing that I would focus on is at least your main city where you service and where your actual location is. And unfortunately, because of AI, you're probably going to be looking at getting into having to do some ads through maybe local service ads, PPC, and Facebook ads, things like that. Kind of those days of building these massive page sites, you know, are over, unfortunately, depending on the category.
If I'm a roofer, then I should just have my silo about roofing. Why would I want to link to gutters, you know, or to my siding part? What, that just, come on.
No. So just focus on what you do.
So we had when someone mentioned, like, is a GeoHub a silo from Victor? So that pretty much is, right?
GeoHub is not a silo. It's basically what it is. It's think of it as it's a one-stop shop. If someone were to land on that page from your Google business that basically lists, hey, this is who I am. I'm physically located in the city. I service these other cities, and then these are all the services that I offer.
Yeah, it's like a location page on steroids. It's better than your home page because it's very focused on all your services that you offer in that location, right? Your services in your city. This is our service area. It might be 15 miles, it might be 30 miles, whatever. And then this is what we do. So, and then of course links to those, you know, down the child link to from the parent to the child to those additional. You know,
so it can become a silo
pages.
then. It can become GeoHub can become.
It could if you start branching out and saying, you know, we do service some of these cities, maybe have additional locations. But the whole point of this MythBuster is the focus on where you're at. Because I see too many businesses are like, I want to rank number one on the SERPs everywhere around me organically, and they think by doing that somehow they're going to be ranking in 50 cities on maps. It's never going to happen.
Got it.
So focus on where you're at, focus on your city. It's pretty easy, or at least achievable, to rank at least, you know, 1 to 3 cities around your main service area. When you start branching out into that, the organic search is probably not going to bring you a ton of leads, especially if you're in a category that's local service ads. So get into local service ads, get PPC going, get some Facebook ads going, YouTube ads, things like that.
Love it.
You can't rank Squarespace or Wix sites. This is one of the biggest problems I see in our agency. People hate using Squarespace or Wix. They shit on it for whatever reason because they think just because a company has control over the code and all that you can't do anything. Well, I would challenge you to do that. There's a lot of hair salons, a lot of nail salons. For whatever reason, these women-owned businesses absolutely love Squarespace. They love Wix sites, and that's the first thing that they go to. I see thousands of businesses and hair salons and those types of industries that are ranking just fine using those site platforms.
The one we reviewed, my cousin's, Waxon's on Wix, so, and she's number one within Benicia. So,
and then there's actually one here you can go to, Hair Salon Walnut Creek, one of the top ranking sites. It's actually my friend's salon. She has a Squarespace site. So,
yeah, you can honestly rank any site, right? If it's in the code in the HTML and you have access to it, great. Some of these website builders, it was difficult to modify, like Shopify. You had to get a special Shopify dev with SEO experience. But these smaller, cheaper builders, out of the gun, they're obviously not optimized. They don't have the SEO. They're templated crap. So you can, as a freelancer, as an independent SEO, someone can help you to optimize it. But you probably really don't need to pay an agency regularly to really grow that market either.
Got it.
You need to blog to rank locally on Google Maps.
Whoa!
So a lot of times people think that you need to create these regular crazy blogs. You know, what are the best
regular blogging is necessary, Jordan.
Nope, it's not.
Come on. You need to publish every week what you do, how you do it. You got to get the traffic. How am I going to not get traffic if I'm not talking about, you know, what I did on Sunday?
You don't need to. So focus on your services, what you actually do, what's actually going to bring you leads for your local market. You writing about, the weather in San Francisco when you're a business in North Carolina, that's not going to help you in the long run. So
Well,
if
I
there
mean,
is
why would someone
something that
do
you
that?
can write relating to your niche, maybe specific to your geo area, that
Okay.
could help you maybe get some additional traffic. But again, it all comes down to where the users are, where your customers are in their buying journey. So if you can write something locally, then great. If not, don't focus on it.
Have you seen that before? Like people just writing about stuff like totally not within their.
Yeah,
niche?
it's one of the biggest things that probably within, I would say about 2 years ago, there was a tactic that people were writing about, like things to do in Oakland, California when
Mhm.
they're a plumber in Oakland, California. Like nobody cares about that.
I see what you mean.
Major
Okay.
monuments that are in Oakland, California. Again, nobody cares. Why do I need to write about the Oakland Zoo when I'm a plumber?
Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
So
and some
that's
of
that
it
type of
was
thing.
like borderline MySpace crap, right? Like
Yeah.
I can remember the horror stories of looking at this photographer's website and a DJ, wedding DJ, and I'm just like, dude, nobody cares. This is the reality. If you're not a professional writer, then stop fucking writing about what you had for breakfast and how the photo shoot went. No, 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 no. Talk about what the customer wants to know.
Or else they should just vlog then if they want to do something like that, because that's some of the content that people
Yeah,
want to
do it on,
vlog.
if you have that much time, then take out your phone and set up your TikTok.
But I'm just not pretty enough. I can't do it. I want to.
All right, number 8.
Number 8, more reviews always means higher rankings. So
Oh,
the
yeah.
biggest
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
thing for me, they think
Reviews.
that just because the
Go.
business has, I have 500 more reviews than my competitors, but they're
Yep.
still outranking me. That has nothing to do with that.
Oh,
There's so many other things at play.
Okay.
Look at some types of relevancy. A lot of times getting some content that's related to your niche and the service that they had done, even the city that they're in, does help you get some overall visibility and rankings. Review quality. We talked about a couple episodes ago about having good sentiment, which is basically the mood. You want to make sure that your customers are having a positive experience. Google's going to show, if we watched that reaction video where it said give you recommended businesses. Google's not going to recommend a shitty company that has 1-star reviews. So they're going to recommend a quality company. So
Jordan
keep that
said a
in mind.
bad word.
But
Oh my
for
God.
reviews, but would you say that's pretty strong ranking factor? Because that's what I hear a lot all the time. It's like reviews is probably like the number one.
Reviews is definitely one of the top ranking factors, and it's never going to go away. That's why Google's so strict on making sure they're trying to fight against. They had a big review sweep like 2 weeks ago. People were freaking out.
Oh,
I mean, anytime they do major updates like that, there's a reason why they're doing it. Is because it's an important factor.
This is what the reality. People see that the higher ranking companies in 3-pack have high volume quantity of reviews. So they just automatically correlate that. I just posted earlier this week on my Facebook, my plumber has the least amount of reviews and he's number 1. So it's quality, right? Quality.
And also making sure like every single customer you talk to, that should be an opportunity to get a review. And now that doesn't mean that, all of a sudden you did 40 plumbing jobs in one day, and those reviews could very well come in. But depending on your type of service, it's highly unlikely that you're going to all of a sudden have an influx of 200 reviews coming in one day. But the consistency of having it, how often they come in is definitely going to help you in the long run too.
Keyword stuff reviews better. I got comments.
If you can mention
don't look at keyword. Yeah. Don't look at it as a keyword stuffing. Look at it as more in the sense of how the experience someone had. If you just type in there, roofer San Francisco as the content review, you're not going to see anything from that. Google reads the entire content of the review.
Okay. But the sentiment is also pretty good and pretty big, right?
Yeah, and just because you have 10 reviews that have an exact match keyword like roofing service in San Francisco, California, that's not going to also equate to rankings because you have that.
Got it.
So they look at the entire puzzle. Keywords in GBP description boost rankings. So a lot of times people use their Google business descriptions to put in, you know, services that they offer, and then they'll all of a sudden they'll list every single city that they service. Google does not look at your descriptions whatsoever.
Okay.
So a lot of times they will pull in some of the they've actually been showing little snippets from the descriptions inside the actual map results, but they're not actually pulling that description as a factor for how you're ranking and being seen. So you can write, you know, a few sentences. It's still a good idea to fill that out, because Google has these, you know, features and things inside your Google business because they ultimately want users to stay on Google. So it's a good idea that at least have that information in there and filled out. Always fill out everything that you possibly can in your profile.
Nice.
Okay, fine. I agree with that one. Fuck.
Sending links to your CID will give you a boost. So basically what this means is back in around 2017 and before, Google had an identifier, which they still have a CID. It's a customer ID number that they assign to every Google business listing. Before, it was in a decimal format, so it would have a series of 11 to 12 digits showing the actual Google Maps URL to identify what profile you're actually on. Well, since then, they actually changed everything to a hexadecimal format, so you'll see a very large number and query behind the Maps URL. But if you actually send stuff to your CID, it actually sends it as a 302 response HTTP code, which then gets redirected to the hexadecimal version. Around 2014, me and a business partner tested this theory. We sent thousands and thousands of links to the CID. And the cool thing about it is it actually showed as a traffic signal in Google Business Insights. So it was a really great thing to do. Now I've seen listings get suspended. I've seen a lot of damage happen by sending links to the CID. So just stay away from it.
You know,
Yo, I don't know. Like the GMB bros, like they still recommend that. You got to have the CID. You get the page sharing. You got to do it. Oh, just so you're doing it wrong. Is that what's happening here?
Just don't send it to your CID, period.
But yeah, because I'm curious about this. Like, say I'm a regular business owner, I wouldn't know how to find my CID, or like know how, like, I need to send something to my CID number, right? So it's so like unnatural, I would think.
Yeah, it's very unnatural.
What would you send?
Just don't even worry about it.
It's very.
So what would you send links to?
So you can send links. The only thing that I would even worry about right now is doing traffic. So I wouldn't even necessarily send links. Now, if you want to link out to your GBP from like a press release or an article or something like that, that's one thing, but it's not going to give you this, you know, big boost that people think.
Okay.
But last but not least,
Drum
this
roll.
isn't necessarily a myth buster, but it is stop using CTR bot tools. So I've seen there's quite a few instances within the last 2 weeks. We've had about 12 to 13 people coming in complaining that, hey, I use this CTR tool and my listing's now flagged. So just stay away from them. Within our Trident Rank method, we actually created a separate video module. If you just go to bit.ly/GBP-traffic, we actually have an entire little video lesson in there for you that actually shows a great way to get traffic sent to your Google business profile in a natural way that gets you rankings and conversions. So, and that's all.
Well, you're just using it wrong, okay? You don't know what you're doing.
You're supposed to get the keywords from like your profile.
It's branding, Jordan. Come on.
All right, guys. Let's go. Let's get to our final segment of today's show is roast. Our GBP roast today is a security company, right? Or it's a security.
Yeah, they do business and home security. Do you want to pull it up, Keith?
Sure thing, boy. Let's go. Callaway Security, you guys got that?
Callaway, yes, sir.
Callaway. Man, you know you got competition when you, of course, what do we see here, kids? You got ads right away. So this is your standard security service, home service, commercial, residential, fire. Now, they have a challenge because they're not in Atlanta, but they're trying to service that market. They're about 25 miles north in Alpharetta. Oh, what's this? Big no-no.
Yeah, they have their city.
What's going on there, JP?
I would just remove the title, remove the Alpharetta in the pipe from the name.
Yeah, if you maybe have multiple places, you could maybe do a hyphen, like this is our, Alpharetta location, this is our Milton location, Roswell, etc. But this is the only location for these folks.
Okay.
There is no dedicated page serving the greater Atlanta market. They're just sending it to the homepage. And again, that's very common, right? One of the concerns that come up about looking at some weird structuring on URLs, right? And you're like, well, they could be a little bit long, slightly keyword stuffed, but that's not necessarily going to be a problem, because what you really need to think about is what's the customer journey? So if I'm over here at the camera systems page, there's a link. And if you're a small business owner, I'm using Chrome. Can you guys see it? If I move my my cursor over that, do you see in the bottom, it pops up where the link goes?
Oh,
do you
no.
see it?
You can't
It
see
might
it
not.
from there.
It might not appear on this recording, but in Chrome, when you move your mouse over a link, it'll say where it goes.
Mhm.
This link's going to the home page. No, you wouldn't do that, right? With spoken hubs and putting your services together, you're always better to try to keep people in the related services. What are they doing, right? Hey, okay, well, that makes sense. And this site actually has a lot of good things going on with it. If you look, lots of blogs, lots of traffic. Wait a minute, I know JP just said, don't blog, right? Yeah, bitch, I busted you, okay? Oh, but wait, you go over here to this how to stop a smoke detector. You go down the list, da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, there's a link for smoke detectors. Now again, Mr. Small Business Owner, you really need to question your SEO agency and the people working on your site. If you actually look at that link, they sent it to initially Atlanta-fire-alarm system. Oh, okay, smoke detectors. Well, okay, you click on it. Wait, I thought it was going to this Atlanta firearm systems. Now it's got a double folder, a folder within a folder of information. And now it's about commercial. And you're like, no, wait. I just clicked on information about smoke alarms, smoke detectors.
Yeah, so that's
Why don't you take me to the smoke detector page on products?
That's
Come
why
on.
most SEOs interlink for the SEO benefit alone and not for the benefit for a user. Like if someone's actually, create your interlinks as though you want someone to actually click that link, not just because you think it's going to help you rank.
And that's where you really need to focus, guys, on the customer journey. I've seen hundreds and hundreds of videos and the heat maps, and guess what? That's in red and they're gonna click it. So now you've sent them to where? A commercial page about, home and commercial page about fire alarm systems. And you're like, well, what the fuck? Where is my smoke alarm information? And guess what they'll do? They'll bounce. Yeah, exactly. You don't want to do that. Just obviously manage your links better. So in a situation like this, it's okay to send it over to the smoke detector page, but what do we really want to rank for? We want to rank for these residential Atlanta searches and the commercial fire, in that geo market. So you're almost always better to take a link like this and send it to, very likely send it to like this specific fire alarm service page, right? Focused on what you do. Now, folks will say, hey, so now wait a minute. This link can also help this page obviously rank for smoke detectors, but I don't want my residential fire page to rank for smoke detectors. So that's where, exactly like Jordan had mentioned before, you could do a see more, learn more, because Google's going to understand the information around the link without specifically using the exact keyword. Makes sense?
Makes sense.
Hope so.
But
Yeah.
learn more.
Links can always be trouble, right? Don't send links to your homepage. You really have enough links internally. The entire reason why you would have such a powerful blog like this, I mean, look at this, how to change alarm body, CCT, I mean, it goes on and on and on. It's getting traffic. And you're like, so they're ranking, right? If you type in Atlanta security company, there's opportunities, but you know where their weakness is? Their weakness is obviously on these specific pages. Yeah. Now I know, for example, you want to rank for home theater. Whoa, it took me into an entirely different page. I did not mean to do that. Whoops. Let's just go look at maybe something in fire alarm inspections. That's great. We're using the word Atlanta. Optimize this page for that market.
Yeah, and these guys don't, these blogs are great and all, but they don't service nationwide either.
Right. They're pulling in
my concern is that blog might be ranking, but what if I'm seeing it from San Francisco but it's like, that's great and all, but you guys, you guys don't service this area. So blog for conversions, don't blog because you think you need to do it.
So blog at least specifically by the region. I mean, if you can talk about this and fire alarms, mention.
Because they actually rank for things like, is Savannah, Georgia, high crime? Is Atlanta high crime? Like that's stuff that people are going to want to know about. It's like, hey, what's the crime rate of Atlanta? And they get to this page and then they say, well, crap, this security company, they offer security in Atlanta, and I can go through them. Think about it that way. Where is the user and your potential customers at in their buying journey? Because I guarantee you, people before they buy an alarm system, they want to check, hey, what are the stats like in Alpharetta, Georgia, or Atlanta? And then they say, great, now I can go through this company.
A simple fix is obviously just to put in that city or your area right into your title or your first heading.
So let's the search and know right away. Like, hey,
exactly.
This is more.
And what else would that do? That would give more comfort and security, pardon the pun, for the
also
consumer.
Too, why are you telling the public how to change the battery on their home security system? Why not make something that's for your customers?
Where does that link go to? Oh, it goes over to YouTube. I wouldn't do that.
Is that their page? I mean, I'm curious if that's
actually could be.
Oh yeah, it is. It is their YouTube. Yeah,
yeah.
Their YouTube. That's good. That would have been pretty off if they went to another.
They're giving all this free information to the general public, but they're not targeting. Their customers are only in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
One of the reasons why people do suggest blogs, Jordan, is so that the links that you get, you then feed your internal pages. Well, they're not really doing that. Here's a link that actually is going to another blog about deactivating your alarm system. That's okay, right? You're helping the customer learn more, but what do you want to do as a home security and as a small business? I want them to call me. I want them to do business with me.
Yeah, if you're a big company like ADT, Vivint, then yeah, doing this stuff is helpful.
So here, I found something good here. I found a little nugget, kids. Here, this does say alarm systems, and that link does go to one of their more primary pages about home alarm monitoring system.
Ooh, there you go.
Don't always get hung up on if these URL structures are not quite perfect. Remember, if you start messing with this stuff, you have years possibly of trust and links built up, And if it's not done right, Google's going to be like, you just broke it, right? You broke your spoken hub in your silo.
Right?
Yeah.
Did you want to drive, take a look? Tell me I'm
So
pretty,
their Google
buy me
business
tacos, what do
actually,
you want?
they have a pretty good list of categories, and I know we've talked about this, whether having multiple categories dilutes your overall business. And in this example,
here,
they've done a great job. They list, I mean, they do all of those things, and it's pretty
Got it.
common that security companies are going to do, especially now, they're going to do some type of home automation, for example. So that's, that's a great example. I don't know what type of, rankings they're getting for home automation, but they are mentioning the fact that they do offer that, because home automation has a pretty big bucket of keywords that they could actually be getting in, just the fact of having that category in there. So
Yep.
they do a pretty good job of branding. I was pretty impressed with a couple things. Again, remove the Alpharetta, Georgia, remove the pipe. You don't want to have that in there. Reviews, they definitely need to get some more reviews going, and really having people talking about, again, what they're doing. I think they only have 30 reviews, which is pretty low comparison to what, you would think a security company would have.
Yeah. And that's just, again, what we talked about with Jordan in his, myth busting. Coach your customer kind of what to say, right? Yep. Hey, Jake came over and fixed my alarm system, or they installed my home security with cameras. Cameras are just huge, right? And at least initially what Google's showing here, there's no mention of the word camera. That's great. We got a tech, there's alarm, there's design, there's Wi-Fi, the company, house. So, and really where's the money to be made in a lot of those alarm systems? Commercial. Right, the commercial systems.
I do like I mean, they're using their homepage as their general hub, so and that's okay.
It works,
but it does work. But they list a lot of things that they're doing on the homepage. This is a company that I would consider to be pretty strong, considering the fact that their location is pretty far away from Atlanta, but they're really targeting all their pages to be in Atlanta. Yeah. So they're definitely, utilizing, because they don't think they have, or maybe they have very few pages even mentioning Alpharetta, which is actually where they're actually located from. So this is one way to kind of quote unquote cheat the system, even though you have an address that's pretty far away, but you know that the main market, for search, people are looking for home security systems in Atlanta, Georgia. So they do a pretty good job with that. They use a lot of their kind of hubbing around the in the footer section. They do a really good job of being really transparent with what they're doing. So I would say overall, this is a pretty good brand considering how competitive it is and how big that market is.
Yeah, they're way up north here.
Yeah.
This is an Atlanta search. This is nearly, impossible to compete with that market. But I think that they might show up down here. There's Ackerman, Linder. So there's Callaway. Now that I could have some personalization put in here because I've been over to the site, but that is how you can try to reach that market when you're in a rural or a rural or small town, but you want to reach the bigger metro. Just make sure you optimize for that bigger city. But don't overlook, obviously, as Jordan mentioned, hey, Alpharetta is your backyard, so you want to make sure you cover it. Yeah.
Nice. Great example, guys. We are at time.
Woo!
Love it. 10 myths, 10 local SEO myths busted today. Be sure to rewind if you are just tuning in right now. Any last announcements for you guys? I mean, if you guys, here's what for me. If you guys want a copy of the SEO in 2025 book, I still have some copies left. Email gbproast@gmail.com your address, and I will mail you a copy. And go to try-to-rank-method.com for. Is that still open? Are you guys open?
Still open. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, we've got. I think there's one coupon left for the 25% off.
All right, and don't forget to visit me on Friday for the SEO video show. All right, guys, here we go.
Hey, GBP roast, GBP roast. Sorry, you in danger. Right now, I gotta flame you. This is GBP roast, GBP roast. On your Google business profile, it's about to go down. We roasting and reacting.
wearing his goggles.
We ain't come to play. 20 years in SEO. JP, Lambo, and Dre bringing facts and
might catch a plant on
gas.
fire.
Oh yeah, we bring the dopeness. Welcome to the show. Hope your profile don't get roasted.
Leave it on. Because when I heard it, let me stop right there. All right, guys, man, that was clean. A lot of